Hi, my name is Caitlin Snyder. I'm the Senior Children's Librarian at the Harrison branch of the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County, and our library has partnered with the Greater Cincinnati STEM Collaborative to bring you this fun activity that you can do at home or if you need to kill time somewhere. For this area game, all you need is a piece of paper, something to write with, a friend or willing family member, and a pair of dice. If you don't have 2 dice, you can roll 1 2 times. That's what I do in this video.
Alright, so you start with your blank piece of paper. If you have graph paper, that makes life easier, but you can always make your own graph paper by making the same amount of lines up and down as the same amount of lines across. So just make sure if you're making your own graph paper that you count to make sure that both teams have the correct amount of squares. I fold my paper in half so that I can see the 2 sides of the paper. Alright, and then I'm going to make my playing field. So I decided to draw down 12 spaces. My box is going to be 12 by 12, so I actually just count 12 down. And then another 12 across. Now, I'm old, I'm in my 30s, and so I've had a lot of practice eyeballing to finish rectangles and squares, so I'm just going to follow that line right on down and across. Alright, if you're more comfortable, you can count down that side too, just to make sure everything's even. You see I eyeball one side to make sure it's the same, and then I also have to count to make sure I have the right amount of squares. And then I go up and close it off. So those are our 2 playing fields, all right? And we're going to try to roll the dice and fill up the area of this square. So we're going to do George versus, what's a good name? Let's try Hildegard. All right, so George is going to go first. Like I said, I'm only using 1 die. If you have 2, you can roll them both at once, and you're just going to multiply those numbers. All right, so my first number is 1 and a 3. All right, so I'm going to keep track on the side just to make sure you can see what I'm doing and to make sure everybody's playing fair. So 1 and 3. If you actually multiply it, it equals 3. But if you don't want to multiply, you can draw down 1 and over 3. Multiplication is cool because it doesn't matter what order those numbers are in. I could have drawn over 1 and down 3. It doesn't matter which way it goes. And just like the multiplication shows you, that means I filled in 3 boxes. All right, Hildegard's first turn. 4 and a 6. All right. So whose rectangle do you think is going to be bigger? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I'm going to go down 4 and over 6 to finish that out. Ooh, I think it's kind of obvious whose is way bigger. Let's see. So I'm counting to make sure that my multiplication is correct. 24 spaces were filled. I know some of you do dots to do your multiplication, so you can actually see those dots right there, and that's what your multiplication would look like. Another cool thing about this game is it doesn't really matter how pretty it is. As long as you can tell which squares are supposed to be filled and which ones aren't, you'll know you're in the right spot. All right, so our turns are going to keep going. Now, you can put your rectangles anywhere you want. All right, so I kind of started in the middle for both George and Hildegard, but we'll see if either of those strategies pay off at all. All right, so for George, you can tell I connected those rectangles, so that's fine. You don't need to tell, which rectangle went with what. It's okay if they blend together because we're just trying to fill in the area, right? 1 times 4 for George's 6th turn equals 4. We can fit that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. I fit it right next to the other 4 down that I just did. All right. Now Hildegard's turn. 6 times 5. Uh-oh. Is there any place we can put 6 times 5? I can count down 6 in a couple places, but I can't. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't go 6 over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't go 6 up there. My puppy is rocking my chair. Uh-oh. It doesn't look like I can fit 6 by 5 rectangle anywhere. So that was Hildegard's last turn. She doesn't get to fill any more in. So George gets to go until he can't fill any more in. So George's 7th turn, 6 by 6. You'll notice sometimes I'm saying by, sometimes I'm saying times or multiplied by. That X, when you're talking about area, it shows how far up and down you go, or up and down and across. But George's 6 by 6 also can't fit anywhere, so he doesn't get to take his 7th turn. So who do you think won? Can you tell by looking who has the most squares filled up? I'm going to go ahead and add these scores together. All right, I'm tallying on the side. That's not how I normally do my addition, but just for ease of you seeing how my math is working, it looks like George has 49 squares filled. And you see a puppy nose in there. And Hildegard has maybe more, maybe less. Let's find out. 41 plus another 6 is 47 plus 16. That's so many. 63. So even though Hildegard only got to go 5 times and George got to go 6, Hildegard is our winner.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This video was produced in partnership with the Greater Cincinnati STEM Collaborative. For more STEM activities, visit greatercincystem.org.